So today, Brian Carpenter and I are going to go through the Horizon Hero program, answer any questions you guys have. Once again, this is a safe space really to help support you guys. So we'll go through the purpose of the program, some of the findings we have, some of the reporting. And if you guys have questions, feel free to come off mute to put it in chat. We're here to help you early. So what does Horizon Hero mean? I'm sure you guys have seen it as you're going through your trainings and the skills trainings. But really, it's the processes. All of the tax pros need to be certified as a Horizon Hero. And what it does is demonstrates their expertise and understanding around virtual tools and make sure that they're comfortable for the tax season. And each leader will be going through a one-on-one discussion with their tax pros, walking through the 8 key elements. So wanted to open it up for discussion a little bit and just throw a hypothetical out there. What do we risk if we fail to execute around Horizon Heroes? What's the risk to our customers and our tax pros? What do you guys think? No wrong answers here.
Tyler, I'm monitoring the chat too, see if we get anything in there.
I appreciate it. So if we fail to get our tax pros comfortable with virtual, what do we really risk here?
Tyler,
Hi, guys.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say really client satisfaction and, just the ability to help everybody that we need to help because we won't be able to move anything to virtual. So big opportunities.
Exactly. And I see growth and client service in the chat as well. Any other thoughts of what we risk? Losing clients who we wanted to do virtual but don't think can do it. Yeah, great point there. I will tell you, yesterday I was in an office and I had a tax pro tell me that, oh, that customer doesn't use virtual. We then looked her up on Facebook because she supposedly didn't have a phone, didn't use computers, right? We found her on Facebook. And I was like, well, she's pretty with the times in my opinion. And then we were able to land a virtual, right? So don't assume. So yeah, really, we want to make sure our tax pros are comfortable with it. This is what our customers are telling us they want to do. All the data from the one convention that we saw is saying that our customer base is moving to virtual. So it's important that we take the time to coach and develop our teams to make sure they're comfortable. So let's discuss the biggest whiffum for the tax pro, Code 7 or MyBucks, right? They're not going to receive their MyBucks until they complete the Horizon Heroes form. So is anyone else getting a ton of emails and calls around, hey, you took my money, I can't give MyBucks to my customer? And then a lot of them say, a lot of times I'll reply, yeah, did you read the email that I sent or the mass text I sent about, hey, this is how you get your MyBucks in the process? Has your leader not done your Horizon Heroes yet? And it's led to some great conversations. So when you're talking to the tax pros about to give you some extra motivation to get them completed, if they want MyBucks this year, they have to go through the Horizon process. That being said, you have to be really careful here that we go through it with purpose and we're not just checking the box, right? Because it's easy to say, oh, you need MyBucks? Here's the form to Horizon Heroes, go over it with your leader. And then they go in and click a bunch of buttons and then all of a sudden have access, right? So think about the purpose here and what we just talked about and what we're risking if we don't put purpose behind what we're doing here. So at the beginning of the season, Kyle Trisrolis and I made these videos, and I'm going to send these links out and this deck out with all the links because it's a link-heavy deck for everybody after the call. But I would heavily recommend that each of you takes a moment and watch these 7 videos. They're only 1 or 2 minutes each, and they go through every aspect of virtual we have. So the first video shows how to, in Workcenter, send a MyBlock invite to a customer. The second one, how to email a client a link to upload documents in Workcenter. The third one, how to do Approve Online, how to do a video appointment, how to fax documents in Workcenter, what it looks like from the client side. Great videos to share with your team, great videos to share with your leaders, and for you to spend a couple minutes to watch to really build your understanding if you don't have it. They are YouTube links, so you can actually text it to somebody, email it to somebody. Just a great resource to kind of break down everything that's on Horizon Heroes and help you make sure your mind's right around the topic before you can coach on it. So great tool I wanted to share with everybody before we really break it down and get into it. Lastly, Brian and I were talking this morning, and I was talking to a couple of peers, and I don't think everyone understands that there's actually reporting up there where you can see who's done Horizon Heroes. So when you think of a support, that trust and support angle, and how we're trying to help our tax pros understand how this works and help them grow, what better way than to use the Power BI reporting to see who's completed and who hasn't, and then go into those office, ask some open-ended questions, and make sure they're getting all the support they actually need to help our customers. So I'm going to take just a moment here just to show that reporting. And I'm going to send the link out so that way everybody has it. But it's this Power BI report, and when it pulls up, you can pick your district, you can see, or a region, market, whatever level, you can see how many people have completed it. You can even go to the district overview if you're an RD, and you can see, how many each district has. But where I would really implore you to spend time is the hero detail report. And in this report, it breaks down, once you pick your district, you can either search by name, or you can see what answers for each of your tax pros, how comfortable they were with virtual tools. If their name's not on here, they haven't completed it yet. So it's just really a great tool that you can use when you're doing your office planning before you go on one of those visits, to really sit there and make sure that everyone is comfortable around those virtual tools, and has actually done their Horizon Heroes. So wanted to share that with everybody. Oh, I see.
Can I jump in for a second?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, so just as I was looking at the list, and I'm sure mine looks the same way, there was a lot of, doing a great job, doing a good job. I know that when I look at mine, it doesn't reflect my virtual results, that we're really doing a great job with this. And so with that being said, how long do you think that the Horizon Heroes, anyone want to jump in on how long do you think it should take for us to do one of those, a leader with their one of their associates? Yep, Rachel says about an hour. Yep, Denny's 20 minutes to 130 minutes. Yeah, so and at the end of the day, we're in a slower time right now, and if we don't do this right now, then in a couple of weeks when things really start kicking up, we're going to be chasing this all season long. So like Tyler was said with that trust but support, when we go in and look at these reports, are what our leaders have entered in, does that truly reflect what we're seeing right now in performance?
Exactly, and you have to take into consideration too. This is very situational leadership for a lot of our associates. We have associates who had over 30% virtual last year, right? That's probably a shorter conversation with that leader and that person. But if you have a brand new ATL, really important that they fully understand all the aspects of this. And keep in mind, your MTL should be doing a lot of this. So it's more of a coach the coach situation for us, asking, hey, who's done Horizon Heroes in your office? Let's look at the reporting together. It's a good one-on-one topic. But when you think about virtual and starting with the behaviors, this is really a great tool the company's giving us. And I see Denny's has raised his hand as well.
Hey, Tyler, can you hear me?
Yep.
Is this a specific link to get into Power BI? Because my Power BI is a little bit different. So it's a specific link, just like the Daily Horizon one.
Exactly. I actually didn't have access to it until someone sent me the link. I'm going to share the link so after this call in the Teams page, I will send the recording to this call, the links to those videos we just discussed, this PowerPoint, and the link to Power BI. That way you've got it all in one spot. You can save them wherever you want, and you'll be able to access and share. And I know a lot of people now when you open up Power BI, it suggests incorporating it with Teams as well. So when you hit accept, it actually moves it over to your Teams page, and you can see it there as well. But that's just something that you can do. So with that, we're going to really go into the process of what it should look like to accurately go through the Horizon Hero process. So I'm going to turn it over to Brian to go through some of the questions and some of the best practices and what we should be talking about.
All right. So, hey, thank you for everyone for joining today. And I just want to start with the first question. Don't underestimate the importance of this question. I would love that this is part of what we're doing of Horizon Heroes, because I've been talking to my team forever. Like, hey, it's really important that we know how people like to be recognized. I personally want to crawl underneath the table when I'm getting public recognition. I just don't feel comfortable with it. And we have tax pros or some of our ATLs or NTLs that may be the same way. And it's really important to know how they like it. Do they like just that private or public? So that they're getting they feel the full value of what you're trying to do. So the way we like to be recognized may not be how they like to be recognized. With the ICQ, this one, I was with Carice yesterday and really learned some great things about this that maybe some of you have heard already. And we talked about how, so we never want to talk about scoring to lead towards a score, but it is important to know how we're scored on this because it's good for the client too. So one thing I learned yesterday was that within the first 10 seconds, that's where you get scored for your first impression. You go outside of that and you haven't said all the things you need to say, you're not going to see a high score on that. So one thing is we were visiting, when in the last office we went into, they had a lot that they were putting in that first second, and I literally was timing it, you know, with them to show them like, this isn't good for our client. You know, the client wants to get things done. So we'll get some information out on that too, to share some of the things that she shared with that. But that first 10 seconds and then just the first 30 seconds, she said the system pretty much stops listening to us after 30 seconds. So if we haven't gotten anything in there about a virtual option after 30 seconds, that may be why you're seeing some low numbers. Like, you know, mine was at 10% the other day, and I was like, oh my gosh, 10%, really? Are we that bad? And it could be just that we're not, you know, keeping the client in mind. We're really getting everything that in early, you know, and of course, getting that appointment. So, you know, with this one, this has got a lot of different selections on here, and we just really want our leaders to not be afraid to put that, you know, it was good, and not be afraid to take that time, because this is so important. We know 75% of our clients make their appointments over the phone. So this is a good chance for us to really verify that everyone's on the same sheet of music.
And to make it easy for you too, in Nexidia, there's actually a sheet that breaks down how the scoring works, and I've included this here. So you can use this, and this is a great tool for first years, new CSPs, new ATLs. This is how you're graded, exact verbiage they're looking for, how the points work. It's in Nexidia, but I actually snipped it here for you so you have it. And if you follow these prompts here and make sure you're hitting those points, then you'll do really well.
Yeah. Hey, just a question for the group too, because this was something that came out yesterday. So when we go into Nexidia, or when our leaders go into it, what do we tend to gravitate towards? What do we listen to first? Anybody? So I'm just going to go ahead and.
No, go ahead, Brian.
No, you go ahead. You go ahead.
Yeah, Ben and I were listening to calls together this morning, you know, to get more comfortable with the system. And we first started with kind of at the top where we can see where do we have a good first impression. Now let's go listen to a couple of calls where it says that it's not, right? Then we jumped to where are we doing a good job with offering virtual tools, and then where, you know, did the system say we missed the mark? And so we were spending time listening to calls there from a first impression first, and then we jumped to virtual. But there's definitely a lot of opportunity for the other categories and to be listening to calls.
And that's a great call out, Margaret, because that was another big learning yesterday with Carice is, and I know I've done this in the past when I've gone in to listen, I look at the ones with the worst sentiment first, and I go into that. And Carice really challenged that we really should be listening to our best calls first, where we have that high sentiment score, where we can look at the categories and see where we were high on that and listen to that, so we can use those calls to help coach, you know, our team on what a great call looks like. So our leaders may be doing that. They may be going right to just the calls that aren't good. So that was another really big call out yesterday, because we know our time's limited. And to your point there that you were Ben or doing, we're just, you know, let's go and let's hear what good sounds like, and really help emulate that throughout the team.
I would add too, their dashboard for Nexidia is different than ours. So for them to be able to pull up Nexidia in the office, they actually have to go through the remote desktop. And I found that was a big learning for a lot of MTLs. So just so you know, they have to open up their remote desktop, then they have the Nexity app, and then even their menu's a little different than ours. So it's good to kind of spend some time and make sure you understand how theirs work.
Yeah, I'm actually, and I'll share this. I had one of my MTLs that had a visit yesterday. I'm going to record a little tutorial with her going through, and I'll share that out. We'll make sure we deliver a good product there and share it. So, you know, as it says here, this is, of course, not just a, hey, are you good at this? Or, hey, are you good at that? Do you understand this? We actually need to take that time to do the role play. Again, this is a slower time of year for us. If we don't get it right now, we're going to be in big trouble. So we do have the way to role play it, as it says here, with the some directions there, and we can go in and listen to some of their calls as well, which is really effective, to where we could actually show them, here's how it scored you, listen to the call so they really understand. And it's not, again, we're talking about the score, but at the end of the day, if we do this right, it's going to be the best thing for the client.
And we have to face the reality of the situation too, I think, right now. As you guys have been seeing the communication come through, Nexity they're updating and there's some trouble with it taking a long time to load. I think we need to be clear with our MTL teams that, hey, this is not the normal. It's being worked on right now and it should be faster in the future. That way they're not frustrated. So when they go into Tactical Tuesday or whatever business rhythms where they listen to the calls, you know, let them know, yeah, don't just sit there for 2 hours while it loads. Open it up, go to another workstation, help somebody, come back and see, listen to those calls, so that way you're not stuck waiting the whole time.
Yeah, one last thing. I promise I'll stop talking about inbound call quality, but or incoming call quality. One thing that Carice, it was a great analogy. She talked about, think about Nexity as a freeway, and you're trying to avoid the rush hour. You know, you're heading to work, and she talked about how really on the East Coast, if we can get on there by 9 o'clock in the morning before the West Coast has jumped in, we're going to see a lot faster speeds with that, or, you know, later early evening time frame. So really using that analogy with our teams of how, as more people join it, yeah, it's going to slow down just like we would in traffic on the freeway.
Yep, and last thing on inbound call quality, because it's just a big piece in focus now, right? I had a visit with Dan yesterday, the day before, my RD, and when we were traveling, he was talking about how the #1 RD right now, or district manager in virtual, it's all through inbound call quality, and that's his focus. He's doing the direct correlation between those calls and the virtual mentioned versus the reality, and that's how he's driving all his results, and he's leading at it. And one of the best practices I thought was really good is after they listen to calls and stuff at the RD or DGM level, they're having peers call each other's offices. And I know the pushback might be like, hey, why don't you just listen to the calls? But you can do in the moment coaching there. So you can call after you've listened to some of these calls and know who to call. You can call and then do that coaching right there around the virtual tools and help them develop. And I thought that was a great best practice for sure. So on to the next question. So now we're just going to go through the virtual tools, and I want to make sure that you have all the resources you need to be successful here. So video in MyBlock, how did they do, right? So when we think about doing it with purpose, I would recommend there's a video appointment job aid that walks you through it. And I'm going to send, like I said, I'll send this deck and all the links out to everybody. Walks you through exactly how to practice the video appointment. There's actually a whole process you're supposed to do with Horizon Heroes. I didn't put it in here because it's like, it'd be like 3 slides worth, but it breaks it down exactly how to start the appointment, what to role play, what to go through. And then the MyBlock, right? Making sure they understand at least 2 features of it, identify how a client has a MyBlock account, and then sending an invite. Something that I would recommend too is having that tax pro create a MyBlock account if they don't have one. Have them use their smartphone. Something that I love that my RD said on a visit the other day, I'm constantly getting asked for new scanners. And so he asked a tax MTL, do you need more scanners? And they're like, oh yeah. And then he said, how many customers do you have in the office at the moment? Is it 12? Then you have 12 scanners. They're all holding a personal phone, and you have the MyBlock right here. They can go ahead and upload it and save you time, and it's just the easiest way to do it. And I thought that was a great takeaway as well. But I included the job aid there, so all you have to do is click the link, and then the steps for the Horizon Hero was right there on exactly what to cover.
Yeah, and one thing with the MyBlock too is that first bullet was just, you know, you may not need to cover every bullet with the client of why it's a great thing for them, but there's something for everyone to reason why they should have it. That app has come a tremendous ways from where it was a few years ago, and so you may still find that as well, where the tax pros are like, oh, it doesn't work. Well, really, have you tried it lately? Because it's gotten really, really good. So yeah, we have the other things too. We have the digital drop off and you know, approve online. And you know, digital drop off typically, you know, majority of people are going to know how to do that, but we definitely want to skip over this one because we do have the job aid. We want to you know, make sure that they can quickly show us where to do it and how they would present it to our clients, why it's a good thing for them to do. One thing I like the team to talk about is, you know, even if the clients come to the office, say, you know, hey, let me go ahead and send you a link so you can upload your documents, because I can get started on your return. That way, when you come in, we can spend more time talking about your results and some tax tips for next year. And then the client really sees the value, and they're like, okay, yeah, let me upload one. Even if they only upload their W-2, you know, we can get started on that. So definitely want to share, you know, the value and what's in it for the client as well, and the tax pro. With the approve online one, this one has been the one I've been hearing a lot of questions about in my district, and this one's one I think we've made a little bit easier in that in BlockWorks we have not only at the beginning and at the end where we can select the return for approve online. So just based on what I've seen in my district, this is one that I thought was a little bit more straightforward, that we're going to have to circle back and just make sure that understanding is there on this one, because I'm not seeing it so far. But definitely great job aid here to really take us through what our leaders should be covering with our associates.
I love it. And one thing I would say on the MyBlock and the digital drop off, another best practice I heard recently is, you know, that we know the reporting is off for digital drop off and it'll update. So you want to focus on the behavior. But if you get some pushback saying, oh, you know, we have a lot of digital drop off, that's where our virtual is. Digital drop off isn't counting for the whole company right now. And there's still people above 50%, right? So there's a ton of opportunity out there. The other thing I would say, and another cool best practice I saw, is if you go into the daily client growth and you look at the day before, you can see how many new customers we helped, or you can look for the week, right? And those new customers, they don't know any better. They should all have a MyBlock account. It's just the way we do business, right? Assume the sale. So at minimum, if you've helped 5 new customers this week, why don't we already have 5 MyBlock accounts? And you can dig into deeper. Yep. Why aren't we driving that with each customer? So I thought that was a cool best practice to share for sure.
Yeah, and with that, just real quick on the with that, I mean, if they're new clients, there is a very, very good chance that they used TurboTax before, and TurboTax makes them do all of it. They've got to sign up for an account. They have the option for a video. I mean, they have all of those things. So to Tyler's point, shame on us if we don't present this to our new clients. This is the way we do business, and get them signed up. The other thing I wanted to say is that Tyler talked about the behaviors, and some of you know I went to Clemson, so I'm not an Alabama fan, but I am a Nick Saban fan. And Nick Saban always talks about the process at Alabama, and one reason why they're consistently good, and I know they just lost, but one reason why they're consistently good each year is he tells the players, concentrate on executing each play exactly how it's supposed to be executed, and the scoreboard will take care of itself with that. So sometimes it's easy to get caught up in, well, that one should have counted, or why didn't that one count? But at the end of the day, if we consistently are focusing on the behaviors, we're going to be just fine with the scoreboard. We're looking for 30% of our clients.
Love it. Yeah, and I don't know if you guys have heard, but TurboTax is not doing their free return this year, where they had in the past. So they got rid of their free filing option. So all of those customers that are used to TurboTax and using all these virtual tools already, to Brian's point, low-hanging fruit for virtual, easy way to grab onto it. So Work Center and small business, trying to keep it simple. Once again, with Work Center, here's the 7 videos that walk you through exactly how to leverage Work Center. There's also an inkling, and it'll be posted with the end of the deck with all the resources. There's the deck that walks you through exactly what to work through with them for Horizon Heroes, so you don't get too deep in the weeds because you're doing, focusing on specific things. But these videos, I think, are a great tool that you can use to really make sure your team's aligned around the right things. And then small business tools for you. So you want to make sure that we explain that small business is our #1 imperative. We want to explain the small business client referral. We want to talk about send a friend. We want to talk about the tool, the business structure tool. But I'm also including in this deck the small business hub for you as a DGM. That has everything small business as a company really well broken down. Corporate's done a great job to give you tools and resources there, as far from everything from marketing to learning material. If you want to drive the #1 initiative, it's a great resource. And then also a folder that's filled with desktop resources for tax pros. They can put it in a folder on their desktop in the tax office, and it gives them all the tools they need in the toolbox to drive small business. And it's a great talking point when you're going around Horizon Heroes or when you're going through those visits for sure. So let's talk about recognizing your team. Something I'm doing in my district is, as people finish Horizon Heroes, they're printing them out and they're putting them around the WOW board so you can see the recognition, and it just gets everyone on the same page. But I would really suggest building this into your business rhythm. How are we talking about the Horizon Hero when we're doing visits? When you're doing those strategic support visits, are we looking at the reporting around Horizon Heroes beforehand to know who's left when we go in? Or are we seeing who has opportunities with virtual, maybe on the virtual reporting, and then going in and asking and refreshing some of those Horizon Heroes opportunities to really drive the virtual piece and make sure everyone's on the same page? And also, great idea to really partnering with your MTL there and coach the coach, like I was saying before, and see how they're talking about it and what tools they're using around it. So really just all about recognition, building it into your business rhythms and everything else. So that's kind of the summary about Horizon Heroes. We have the report. To recap, we have the reporting. There's all the support and materials you need to make sure that your team can successfully go through it. And then overall, like Brian said earlier, how do we focus on the behaviors? How do we make this not a check the box to get my code 7 my bucks, but a real program where we can make a difference for our customers and drive virtual in the office? And then how can you refer back to this on your visits and every time you're in the office to help leverage it to drive virtual for you so you can hit that 30 or 40%? So what questions do you guys have around this process? Is there anything we can help you with? Like we said, safe space just to make sure that you have everything you need.
Any success stories you've seen with this?
Hey guys, I've got a question.
Sure.
Can we print the Horizon Heroes? Can we get copies of that? Is that possible, or is it just going to the MTLs?
So in that dashboard that I showed earlier, the Power BI, it has all the questions and answers per associate. So instead of you,
the card that you showed that they're printing and putting in the office.
This one, yeah, you can print you can. So when you complete a form, it sends you this blank, so you can type in any name you want.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. So if you know someone's completed one and it's not up, you can just go through one for yourself really quick with the link. You'll get this to your email, and you can put that person's name, whatever name you put in there. It'll be on the actual Horizon Hero certificate, and you can hang it up.
Thank you.
I think I know why you're asking, Regina. You want those in color, don't you?
You know I do. I'm a colorful girl.
That's good.
So, hey, I'll share a success story to get us started on that. So, one of the things we did that my MDM had suggested to us was to have a call with our high riders at the beginning of the season. So this is in addition to the Horizon Heroes. But I had one tax pro that literally, if she wasn't on board with virtual, I really didn't have a chance in January. And she was a little resistant, and her office leader did this right. She went through the Horizon Heroes. And then she also, you know, did some side by side with her kind of to get started. And she's over 40% right now in virtual adoption. And that office that was 1.1% last year, which is awful, is over 30% for the season so far. And it's not just of the small amount of returns. They're my top volume office. So this is really important. It's one of the cooler things I think we've done, and that we're really showing the importance of this. And yes, we're holding MyBucks hostage to do it, but at the end of the day, it's not about the MyBucks. It's about, we've got to get this right, and now's the time before we get really busy.
Couldn't agree more, right? We know that now 1 in 3 people go to TurboTax and use all their virtual tools. Let's get with the times, use virtual, leverage it, really help our customers and our associates grow for sure. I'm also going to share a survey in the chat right after we end the call. It's just asking us as a support team, we want to go over things that you're interested in and have questions about. We want to give you the best support we can through the tax season. So please take just a minute to fill it out and let us know what questions you have, how we can help you. It really will help us tailor some of these competitions that we're doing and some of the things that we're doing to best help you. So before we wrap up the call, any questions, comments, any other questions, even unrelated to this, that we could help support you as the support team? What's on your guys' mind?
Yeah, I hope everybody saw Derek's comment in chat. That's really important that we have the right people self ID, or we're not going to see the MyBucks activate for sure. Yeah, that's a great point.
For sure. All right. Well, if you guys need anything or have any questions at a later point, feel free to leverage the chat that we created. It's a safe space to ask any questions you have. I'll post all of the recording and all of the tools and resources and links, and most of them are going to be in this PowerPoint. So I'll just post the PowerPoint there, and then any other resources I'll include with it. Thank you guys for your time, and I hope you guys have a nice weekend.